Alright, here is the video that will help you in choosing your build presets and how to get your party composition in order. Your maximum number of party members is 4. You should have typical style like in every other RPG, but in this case there are a lot of dual class combinations that you can do for each and every character. Every character that you encounter in the game from origin list can be one of these presets. You cannot change their custom things unless you play with them directly. Here you can change whatever you want. But if you encounter them throughout the game, you will be able to choose one of these presets. So memorize these presets, that will help you a lot. And you should have 2 of each offensive attribute: strength, finesse, and intelligence. Strength characters are typical knight, fighter, inquisitor, and battle mage, although it's not that relevant. The thing that determines what attribute does the damage is the weapon that you're wielding. Staves and magic wands use intelligence, knives, bows, crossbows use finesse, spear as well, for example, while maces, swords, two-handed things use strength. That's what determines your damage. Intelligence determines the damage that you deal with spells. Your whole party should have at least 3 out of 4 elemental schools at the beginning. Later on you will add the last one that you don't have through combat abilities. So we are talking about Geomancer, Hydrosophist, Pyrokinetic, and Aeroturge. Combinations that are good from build presets are something like this. You have here Enchanter. He has from the get-go Aeroturge and Hydrosophist. This is a very versatile character at the beginning because you can change these skills, and these are some of the good combinations that you can do. You can cast rain, then you can cast hail strike. If target is wet and you cast chill effect on them, they will become frozen. They can resist by magic armor, so you need to be wary about that. You need to get rid of the magic armor first in order to have these combinations ready. Or you can cast rain, set everything wet, and then cast electric discharge or shocking touch or anything that really does air damage. That way you will create a giant pool of water that will stun everything that doesn't have magic armor. So that's one good combination. Another good combination is something of Wizard. He's got Geomancer and Pyrokinetic ability. Here you can cast Fossil Strike, that way you will create an oil surface. Then you can ignite that oil surface with Searing Daggers or Ignition, and then you can cast Poison Dart to make everything explode that is in that oil surface and that is burning. Because when you create burning effect and poison effect, target explodes, dealing additional damage. Another good spell combination is something like Cleric. You can cast Decay on your target, that way they are taking damage from healing spells and potions. Then you immediately cast Restoration on them and they will take damage for 2 turns instead of healing. And then you can also add Bloodsucker onto them if you're standing in a large pool of blood, that will also do damage to them. So these are the normal combinations you can do from these classes, and that's why I'm saying you should have a good combination of characters and classes that have diverse abilities that also complement each other. Polymorph is from the build presets class that has the best crowd control out of them all. Chicken Claw Atrophy actually removes the ability of your enemies to use weapon for 1 turn, which basically makes them useless. Unless they are mages, then they are not useless. Bullhorn, you get some kind of horns and then you can rush at your enemies and gore them. Increases Retribution ability by 1. Retribution reflect some of the damage that the enemy is doing to you back. Chicken turns the target into a chicken if they don't have any more physical armor, and they are basically unable to do anything for 2 turns except maybe run away. So that's how you should have your party composed of. Tank, DPS, DPS/support, and the healer. Cleric is the best for heals, definitely, while a good combination with Cleric is also Ranger, because Ranger has this ability immediately. Huntsman ability has First Aid that heals certain number of vitality points, and it cures crippled, knockdown, blind, silence, bleeding, burning, blah blah blah. Here are some good party combinations. Fighter, Enchanter, Cleric, and for the last one go for Ranger. Why Ranger? Because he's got Pyrokinetic from default tree. So you now have Hydrosophist, Geomancer, Aeroturge, and Pyrokinetic. Fighter comes with Geomancer. So you have all 4 schools immediately, and you're really powerful. You're gonna be tanky, you're gonna have plenty of heals, and you're gonna do a lot of damage, while also being able to stun targets with Aeroturge plus Hydrosophist. All 3 characters will as well have healing abilities. Enchanter from Hydrosophist, Ranger from Huntsman, that First Aid ability. It's over here. And obviously Cleric. You could also add to your fighter ring that has restoration skill on it, so you can use it infinitely. You can add that to the fighter, the tank, and then you have healing abilities on all 4 characters, and you have all 4 elemental schools. I mean, it's a fantastic combination. Another good party combination would be something like this. Metamorph for crowd control. You can use Knight for tanking. You could use Enchanter or Cleric for healing. Up to you. And for the last one you could use Wizard. You have Geomancer school, you have Pyrokinetic school, you have Hydrosophist school, and the only one that is missing is Geomancer, but you can learn that for Knight, because he could use Fortify ability from the fighter, and that way you will create another tank that is as good as fighter. Or you can add Geomancer to someone else. It's completely up to you. That's the beauty of this game. Now let's talk about creating your own character. You can choose here whatever you want. As I said, the options are limitless. When you choose these combat abilities, that will determine your skills. You can see I can choose from Hydrosophist, from Necromancer, and here Hydrosophist and Necromancer have been chosen, so I will now remove that and for example go for Aeroturge and Geomancer just for laughs. And now I can choose from Aeroturge and Geomancer. So these presets mean nothing for your own character. They only mean something for the characters that you encounter throughout the game that will join your party. Go crazy here. There are plenty of good combinations. The only thing that I can really give you some advice here, if you're using more of a mage character that uses skills, focus on these schools of magic: Geomancer, Aeroturge, Hydro, Pyro, Necromancer, Summoning. These are the things that you want to focus on, depending on what you like and what you prefer. If you're using more of a fighter-oriented character that uses mostly weapons, then obviously put something into weapon category that they are using. And add Warfare or Scoundrel or Huntsman, depending on what type of character you're having. If you're a ranger, then use Huntsman and Ranged. If you're a tank, Warfare and go for defensive one, Retribution or Perseverance, either one of these two. You should add leadership to your main character, because he will constantly be in a party and you don't want to switch party member that is good in leadership. because then you're losing on dodging and resistance bonuses. Your own guy that you're creating should have leadership and persuasion from civic abilities, simply because sometimes you will have interactions in the world where you can't choose what character from your party will talk to that person, because they will initiate conversation immediately. That's why you want to have persuasion. From other things, from other civil abilities, you should just spread out points to your party members. One should have telekinesis, the other one should have lore master, sneaking and thievery is for rangers, shadow blades and rogues, and these ones do whatever you want. Just leave persuasion on your main character with leadership as well. Your tank should have retribution and perseverance, as I've said before. And that's about it really that I can cover from character creation. Focus on these things and obviously change attributes to reflect those changes. Finesse, as I said, is good for rangers and thieves. Intelligence for every wizard that is mostly using spells. And wands and staves. Strength is for melee weapon wielding characters except knives. Knives are used in finesse tree. Spears as well. Memory is used to get extra slots so that you can use more skills. This is important for every class later on. Constitution is also important for every class, so whenever you can put some points into Constitution, and wits, fantastic for finesse characters. But it can be also implemented to any other class as well. So you can see diversity here is immense. Now let's cover the Undead class. The specific thing about the Undead class is that you can choose the race of the Undead, and that way you can choose the talents that you receive. Actually the second talent. The first, all these three things are fixed. The thing about the Undead is that they cannot be healed through restoration spells and through potions. They can only be healed through poison, because they have 200% resistance to poison. Immediately in the first area you will learn some recipes like poison potion or poison food that will save your undead's life later on. That's why you need to craft immediately those things. One of the classes that is good for undead immediately from the preset is Geomancer. Geomancer has an ability to cast oil surface, and then you can change that oil surface by contamination. Then you will create a poison surface, and when you stand in it you will heal. You can also use some of the huntsman abilities, obviously. First aid can also be used, not on yourself, but you can help other party members. So that's a good way to start with undead. Or you can have some other party members that are good in Geomancer elemental school. That way you are covered with this guy. You don't have to worry about your undead character, as long as you have Geomancers in your party. I would definitely suggest that you implement Geomancer school into your undead, even if you have some other Geomancers in your party. That way you will ensure his survival. And that would really be it. That's all from my tips, and now we're going to check some of the talents. And one of the talents that you should use on most of your characters is Leech. Blood is everywhere around you, and if you have a necromancer that has blood drain, and when you put leech on him, when he runs through blood, he will constantly heal up. That's amazing, really amazing. Use guerrilla for your sneaking characters. Opportunist is a must for your melee characters as well. Executioner is a fantastic talent for your DPS characters, because they will be the ones that will usually deal the finishing blow. That way they will receive 2 extra action points after dealing a killing blow. Picture of health is very useful for tanks. And there are lots of other things, but these are the ones that I wanted to mention because they are extremely good. Well, that will be it. I hope I helped you out. Thank you all for watching, and see you soon.